There is something I need to talk about first before I talk about the movie. People's opinions influencing other people's opinions and decisions. When critic reviews for a movie start dropping, it would usually influence people if they should go watch it or not. If you see that a movie is being received a little poorly or something, it might make you not want to watch it. But if you decide to watch it anyway, there might be a chance you might end up liking it. It all just depends on our personal preferences of what we like. So you never know. You might be missing out on a movie that could have possibly became one of your favorites, all because someone or everyone is saying that it sucks. One of my anticipated movies of last year was Pixar's Lightyear, mainly because I was just excited to see such an iconic character from a franchise I've been watching since my childhood get an ambitious solo movie like this one. When I watched it in theaters, I liked it. I personally thought it was pretty good, but my positive reactions towards the movie started to die out, all because of everyone else's opinions on it, and the fact that it sort of flopped at the box office. Which is kind of messed up if you think about it. And it's also why I will try to not have other people's opinions dictate mine. With this topic, it creates the perfect opportunity for me to bring up something that I've always wanted to talk about on my channel for a while now. The Wachowskis' 2008 Speed Racer movie. I gotta say, I am obsessed with this movie. A movie that is an adaptation of a once popular and well-known but nowadays obscure anime from the 1960s. Which is why it inspired me to Basically, this movie wasn't that well received by everyone back when it came out. It was mainly criticized for its crazy looking, but actually faithful and beautiful, visuals and plot. Of course, causing less and less people to go see it. And at the same time, there were two other ambitious movies releasing around the same time of its release that people wanted to go watch instead. And it probably explains why I vaguely remember watching it when it came out. But when I decided to watch it many years after it came out, I can definitely say that it ended up becoming one of my current most favorite movies ever right now. Basically, you should never let a critic or someone else's opinion ruin yours. Let the movie or TV show itself sway your own opinion. Again, you never know if there's any amazing works of art out there that you may be missing out on, all because of someone else's views. I bring this up because when the Rotten Tomatoes score for the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, my hype for the movie was slightly halted, but thankfully it got restored very quickly. Because I reminded myself about the critical reception that Speed Racer got, and how it still ended up becoming one of my favorite movies. And got a strong cult following too. And not to mention, the Mario movie is literally a movie based on one of my favorite characters in all of fiction, and a much more faithful adaptation at that. So I was not going to have my hype killed for a movie that I've dreamed about since childhood. So, let's talk about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I might go a little brief with some topics here because I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. Although by the time of this video's release, a lot of people would have already seen it by now. But I might do a stream where I talk spoilers for the movie for people who have seen it. Anyways, I watched the movie back in the 5th, opening day. I loved it. It was great. Not really amazing to the point where it was absolutely groundbreaking, no. but it was definitely a fun and enjoyable time. From the visuals, to the characters, to the references and Easter eggs, oh, especially the Easter eggs, cause there were a lot of them. And pretty coincidental considering that we are in the month of Easter. They even referenced a couple inside jokes that are kind of well known when it came to Mario or Nintendo stuff. The visuals were absolutely stunning. In my opinion, I think they nailed the vibrant and colorful style of the Mario games here. And the action sequences were done very well too. And as for the characters, I'd say they were all characterized pretty well for this movie. Bowser was absolutely cool and hilarious in this movie. The character who is considered to have the biggest difference compared to their video game counterpart is Princess Peach. Right off the bat, I personally like this direction of Peach that they went with. I will not get into the topic of how people criticized it for being woke or something like that, I don't know. Because in all technicality, there have been games where Peach came along in the adventure, and where you can play as her. Sure, the story in Mario games for many years has always been, the princess is kidnapped by Bowser, Mario has to save her. But again, I don't mind this direction that they went with at all. I like it. And speaking of the story, let's talk about the story of the movie. It is pretty basic, and that's probably because of its pacing. And this is kind of what I feared about the length of the movie. It was kind of fast-paced. Here, Luigi lands in the dark lands of Bowser's mobile land, and Mario joins forces with Peach to stop Bowser from destroying the Mushroom Kingdom and saving Luigi. As basic as this story may be, it technically is faithful to the Mario games, given with its structure of the story, and it's probably why people say that the Mario games don't have any story whatsoever. But I definitely enjoyed my time with it anyway, because it featured characters that I have lots of memories with. It is literally a Mario movie. Now let's talk about the voice cast. Chris Pratt as Mario.
It's me, a Mario.
When it was first revealed that Chris Pratt would be voicing Mario in the movie, I was genuinely surprised. I mean, Star-Lord as Mario? When the first trailers came out and everybody got a peek at his voice, people didn't like it that much. And it especially didn't help with the fact that Chris Pratt was sort of overhyping it for the trailers. But me personally, I was alright with it. I was still going to give it a chance. And after watching the movie, I'd say that he did a great job. Now of course, Charles Martinet will always be the definitive Mario voice, but when it comes to a full-length film, Chris Pratt did pretty good. And to take it into consideration, Mario doesn't really talk in complete sentences in the games, so I'm not really sure how well it would work for a full-length film. And they even referenced this in the movie itself. Charlie Day as Luigi. Charlie Day did great. I mean, he already sounds like Luigi, so therefore, the casting choice was pretty good. Anya Taylor-Joy was pretty good as Peach, Keegan-Michael Key also did well as Toad, Seth Rogen as DK. This is one that has kind of been getting a lot more criticism, because people have been saying that he literally just did his own voice, and no real change to it. More than what people were assuming about Chris Pratt back when we got the first trailer. And I can confirm, yes, he technically did just use his own voice, but I don't mind it, because it kind of fits the Donkey Kong design for this movie in my opinion. And of course, what is probably the best casting choice of them all, Jack Black as Bowser. He absolutely killed it. It was like he was born to play this role. I personally think he perfected the comedic factor that Bowser in the Mario games has. And there's a song that he sang in the movie that is probably the best in the whole soundtrack. And Jack Black literally wrote it himself too. Speaking of the soundtrack, the movie isn't a whole musical like how the rumors were suggesting back then. It's only just Jack Black with that musical tone. But the soundtrack composed by Brian Taylor and Koji Kondo was absolutely beautiful. The parts in the specific tracks played where it references music from the games was amazing. At some parts, it even gave me chills. And they also used licensed music too, mainly music from the 1980s. And I assume that it's supposed to reference the fact that Mario was created and popular in the 1980s. But I liked some of the songs that were used. It was definitely interesting to hear licensed music in a Mario media. One of the songs used was Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler, used in the training obstacle course scene. It was alright, but of course when it comes to this song being used in cinema, nothing else will ever top its use in Shrek 2. As for my nitpicks for the Mario movie, I honestly don't have much bad things to say about it. The only main thing is the pacing of the movie. If the movie was a little longer, it probably could have told a little more in its story. And also, all the things shown in the trailers and TV spots was nearly about half the movie, I think. I wanted the length to be somewhere at least like an hour and 50 minutes. I know most of Illumination's movies on average are around the same length as the Mario movie, but Sing 1 was an hour and 48 minutes, and Sing 2 was an hour and 50 minutes. So for a sequel, hopefully they'll take note of that and make it at least a little longer than this one. Paramount's first Sonic movie was around an hour and 39 minutes, and then they made the sequel 2 hours, so I hope Illumination will probably do the same thing. And this one is kind of minor, but another nitpick that I had was the ambitious feelings that this movie was giving, of how it might end up becoming absolutely groundbreaking or something like that. And I feel like the way the trailers were made kind of gave that feeling. I know this isn't really anything too relevant, but it's just the fact that I had this feeling for a while. And it has made me a little more aware of why you should probably lower your expectations for things. So in conclusion, that's probably all I have to say about this movie. As a Mario fan myself, I absolutely enjoyed my time with this movie. I loved it. I'm very excited to see more of this world in the sequels. It is basically confirmed that they are making a sequel thanks to its success at the box office. I know there might have been a few things I may have not touched upon, but that's mainly because I didn't want to accidentally spoil anything. So on a life-changing scale of 1 through 10, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Also, if you don't know what I mean by life-changing, it's basically just an inside joke of mine where I say that everything changed my life. So I just decided to kind of theme my reviews after it. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you are a Mario fan, or just a fan of a mixture of other things, please give the video a like, and please subscribe if you want to tune into any chill streams that I do, where I play online games and you can join, or where I just talk about different topics like a podcast while also playing games. Also, check out the trailer to this web series that I am currently working on. It is called The Vehicular Testing Human, and if you want to know more about it, feel free to leave comments, or better yet, join my Discord server to ask any questions. Link in the description below.